Hello, everybody, and welcome to the end of season Premier League review. Now, in this stream, as many people as possible, I want to call into the stream and have your say on how you think your club has performed this season. Were you happy? Were you upset? Was it about right? And also thinking ahead towards the future. I want us to be doing a little grading system in respect of the Premier League this season as well. Not just limited to Premier League, though, to be fair. I appreciate we do have a fair few Championship fans watching these streams. So if you're a Championship fan or a fan of another league or whatever, or want to talk about another club, then you're more than welcome to do that as well. I also want us to try to come up with a sort of community Premier League team of the season that we can hopefully all agree on. Which will be going throughout the stream at each position, and now and then we'll be throwing in some end of season awards as well. But how are we doing, everyone? Alfie, looks like you're new to the streams. Thank you so much, Alfie, for following. Alfie, feel free to let me know.
You little rat.
What is your shoe size?
Let me know your shoe size so I can add you to the shoe size list. Village has just woken up at 8 p.m. Fantastic stuff. Hello, Toby, who says, been a very poor season for City. Haaland doesn't look worth the money. Cancelo leaving was a bad call. And Nathan Aki looks like Harvey Maguire with a wig on. Not wrong in the slightest, Toby. And how are you doing? Hello, Ed. James, don't do that, mate. Love you too, Liam. Tom says, my club's done well. Indeed. MCFC Protocol says, Pep out. He is indeed a fraud. That's for sure. And yeah, Will, hope you are doing well as well. Alfie's a size 9. Beautiful. Pim, have I not already written that in before? I'm sure I've written that in. If not, let me know. I'll do it right now. But Alfie is a 9. So let me write that in now, Alfie. You have made the list. Wonderful stuff. Ed says still recovering from the loss. Absolutely, Ed. And I'm sure we can have a chat about that if you would like to. You're a Stoke fan. We are fucking shite. I don't even know where Stoke finished in the Championship. But that's something we can have a chat about if you would like. But this is, as I say, this is sort of like what I thought we could maybe do today. Let me just make sure that's not in the way. Oh, there we go. Actually, no, I can't really do that, can I? That's fine. What if I, like, do that, and then you guys can't even see it? Oh, no, you can, never mind. Oh, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I just keep looking back and forth. That's all good. But yes, so I'm thinking that we can do just a really simple tier list for grading your guys' Premier League seasons, and we can do this. So, for example, you know, if and when we speak to a Liverpool fan, we will then grade it then. I thought it would be fun, as I say, if we also did a little Premier League team of the season builder, and we can have a look through that as we go. But, I mean, in the first instance, guys, who would like to come on the stream and who would like to have a chat? If you would like to do so, what you will need to do is join our Discord server and hop into the general voice channel. I can see Pim's already done that, so Pim is patiently waiting, and then I'll drag you into stream chat. MCFC Protocol says, why don't you do this with the Man City players for the season? Well, we'll be talking about Man City, MCFC Protocol, and we can chat about, you know, who have been the best players for City when we do that. But yes, we've got some tiers here. So right at the bottom is a U. That's for you wasted my time. Now, that's not even an F. Now, an F is a fail, yeah? In like the grading system of, you know, it's numbers nowadays, isn't it? But back in the glory days, it was with letters. F was a fail. U is like you wasted my time. That's how bad it is. E is technically a pass, but hey, you don't really want to be proud of it. A D, you ain't getting any of that. C, mid, Zendaya, you know. B for beautiful. A is just A, I haven't actually put anything in there. And then A star for teacher's pet for those who have had the best season. Of course you can, Alfie. Yes, indeed. We can talk about the Championship for sure. Don't you worry about it. In fact, I can see there's a Championship fan waiting in the stream for me. Zoom into the tiers. Tayab, mate, I swear your eyes are really bad. You're always asking me to zoom in to stuff. I swear down. But what we are going to do, I think, is I want to start with... We're actually going to start with a Championship team. We're actually going to start with William, who is a Middlesbrough fan. Hello, Will.
Hello.
How you doing?
Decent. I've recovered after a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, Absolutely. And just remind us what happened with the Borough. They lost against, was it Coventry?
Yeah. We I think they are better than us, but I'd have really liked to see that game if we had Howson, Ramsey, and all of that. But we just had a lot of injuries.
Oh yeah, Howson is a big lad. Obviously, what do you say? It was just injuries was the issue there.
Yeah. So we missed, I'd say, 3 big stars.
And what's the likelihood of those starters being added to Middlesbrough's squad next season, do you think?
Oh, we're finished next season. Akpom's going to leave. Ramsey and Archer, we're not getting back. Howson's only getting older. He's 36 now, I think. So he's going to be even more... He's fine. He's not bad, but he's just going to get injured more. And then after that, we don't really have anyone. It's Stefan's going to leave, Giles is going to leave, Ramsey and Archer, and Akpom. And they're probably 5 of our 6 best players. So I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, Ed says that Borough played really well, in fairness. Ed is a Coventry fan. But then, Coventry lost in the final anyway. So would you have backed yourself if you got through to the final anyway, Will? Or do you think that would have been Luton's game?
Apparently Ramsey was on his way back. So if we had Ramsey, I think even if without him, I think we'd have beat Luton. I don't know. It's like a play-style match. We beat Luton at home, went under Edwards and under Carrick, so it's like under both managers that stayed for the end of the season. And in the reverse, they beat us. But we were the better team, and we were playing like our left back at left wing and stuff like that. It was just like Akpom didn't play, Hackney didn't play. We still had all of our injuries. It was one of the weakest teams we put out all season, and we still were the best side. So I think that in the head-to-heads, we had the number, so I think we would have.
Fairs, that is Fairs. Hello, Glendon, by the way. How are you doing? Lovely shark emojis. Tayab says, I don't know which Premier League team Akpom would go to. You say that Akpom's basically gone, Will, so where is he going to?
The rumour is Crystal Palace, but it's not about he's sorted somewhere to go. It's more about we can't afford to keep him.
In that apparently, you have to sell him?
It's when we signed the contract extension, it's under the assumption we went up, and if we didn't, we'd have to sell him.
Right.
Because we can't afford his wages.
Got it. I understand. Hello, Matty, by the way. How are you doing? If you guys have got any thoughts or questions, by the way, as we go through these teams, do feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Liam says Akpom's going to Luton for real. Tayab says Will makes sense, indeed. And just speaking about Tayab, because Tayab is a Man United fan, he also says have the faith. What are your thoughts on, like, you say that you're going to lose like some of your better players. Is there also a risk that, because obviously Carrick's done a very good job, is there a short to medium term risk that you'll be losing Carrick as well, maybe to a Premier League team?
No, not for another season. I think that he'd at least want to get a season done. I can see him being a bit like Company, where they've learned from Lampard's mistakes of jumping out too soon. And you stick with your team, and if you're not successful with the team you're at, then you're not ready to make a jump forward. Lampard failed at Derby and then went to Chelsea. It was like really dumb. So if Carrick can't get us up, there's no reason he should be a Premier League manager.
Totally get you. Will. Ed says, can you ask Will who his ideal signings would be? So obviously you need an Akpom replacement. You need a midfield replacement for Howson. Are there any specific names?
God, we need so much. We need a keeper. Ideally Stefan, but I don't think we can afford him.
Take him off us, Will. I don't want him.
No, he was so good. The last about 4 months, he was probably one of our best players. I wouldn't mind that Brook Norton-Cuffy, who was at Coventry this year. He was good. Because we need a right back.
Oh, yeah. So who's the Akpom replacement?
Zian Fleming from Millwall would be the one that I'd want, because we should be able to fetch about 50 mil for Akpom. Maybe 10. It should be 15, because the rumours were like 25 in January, so we should at least get 15. And then Fleming, he kind of plays a lot like Akpom, and I think he got 15 goals for Millwall, so it's useful. We could probably use that.
And Ed says that he's a good dribbler. The player you were talking about from Coventry, he's a good dribbler. I think he would fit Carrick's style as well. So that's potentially ideal. And just the last thing on the this championship bit, Will. The teams that are going to be in the championship next season, there's a lot of, like what many would define as, traditional Premier League teams in there. It's looking like a very stacked championship next season. So what are your sort of like hopes for next season? Because would you say it's fair to say it's going to be even harder to get promoted next year?
Yeah, this is our chance. I think that we're not going up, because if we can't go up now, we're probably going to be worse next year, and it's probably going to be a harder league. So if we can't do it in this league, then we won't do it in that league. I just hope I don't even know if I want us to make playoffs, because losing in the semi-finals is just crap. And I imagine losing in Wembley's even worse. So if we can't win the playoffs, I don't want us to make it.
That's fairs. That is fairs. So thank you for that, Will. Before you go, and you're more than welcome to hop in later as well, I'd just like you to rank one of these Premier League teams for me in respect of their season. So let's pick a club where people aren't going to be talking about them. So you can pick from Forest, Bournemouth, Villa, Palace, probably Everton. I think someone might be talking about Fulham. Jack might be talking about Southampton, but Brighton, Leeds, Leicester, Wolves. Take your pick out of those, and or even Newcastle if you want, because you're a Borough fan. And where do you think they should go in the tier list?
I think. Wait, shit. Can you hear that?
Yeah, is that the nonce alarm?
Yeah. Alright, okay, I think it's got it. Yeah, it is.
Brilliant.
I'll pick Fulham. Why not?
Okay, Fulham.
Fulham. I'll put in. I'll put in Beautiful.
B. Yeah. Care to explain your reasoning?
There would have been A before the Mitrovic scandal, because they were going for Europe, but they're kind of a little bit slept on as a newly promoted side, doing so well. For about the first, I think, 2/3 of the season, they looked like they were going to do a Villa.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's got to come for something. I mean, they've ended rubbish, but that's got to count for something.
No, yeah, I totally agree. They ended up finishing in 10th. Where were they in the expected table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So a 16th expected position, which is interesting. So they have overperformed in that respect. So yeah, so I totally agree with your ranking. Thank you for that, Will. And that's it for now. But I might ask if you want to hop in later so we can have a chat about the team of the season. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Sickhead. I'll speak to you later, matey.
All right, bye.
Bye. There we go. That was Will, Middlesbrough fan, and he has ranked Fulham in the beautiful category. Good luck with your grades, by the way, Matty. Hope that is all going well for yourself. So yes, we've got our first team locked in, and who shall we have? I mean, we could have another. We could have a chat to another championship fan in Ed, but I'm actually thinking I want to go to a Premier League team now, and I'm going to get Liam into the conversation. Hello, Liam. Hello, Liam. Hello, Liam, the Liverpool fan. Oh, he's gone. Fantastic. I thought he was... Oh, here we go. He's trying to get back in now. Hello, Liam. You need to unmute your mic, mate. Can you do me next? I'm doing a poo. Oh, right. Fantastic, he's doing a poo. Right, so, before we bring in someone else, I want to go to our first member of our Premier League team of the season. Now, I've just put it as a 4-3-3, but it can be whatever we want, to be honest. Liam Poo reviews is how brilliant. Maybe later. So, I think let's go from bottom to top, and let's start with the goalkeeper, shall we? So, we'll do like one player, and then we'll do another player later. So, I want to put in Alisson. Speaking of Liverpool, I want to put in Liverpool's Alisson. I think that he has definitely been the best goalkeeper in the league this season. What other names might you say? I think Nick Pope was a big shout for a long time. I think he's made quite a few high-profile errors, whereas I know Alisson hasn't been perfect, but without him, Liverpool would be in a really bad state. So my instinct is that it should be Alisson, but let me know if you guys disagree. Let me know if you agree, and we can put in a player accordingly. Leo Harrison's mum, hello, how are you doing? Says Nick Pope for me. Teb says, I'll find the name for it. Is that the name of this goalkeeper? I don't know. Pim says, I'm free. Oh, yeah, we can talk about Man United next if you would like. Iverson is clear, says Alfie. Do we have any other names that you guys would want to recommend? I think the answer is probably Allison, and I'd be willing to have someone, come into the call to change my mind on it. But my instinct is that it should be Allison. Pim says De Gea. Ed says, I would argue David Raya because I really like him, but Allison's also class. Yes, Matty will be streaming the FA Cup final with Gasky, my Manchester United friend. Oh, Liam's ready now, Pim. So if you don't mind, I will. We'll go to Liam now, who's ready. And this is also quite apt because I wanted to talk just quickly about the keeper situation. Liam, are you there now?
Right, I'm here.
Excellent work. Where would you rank your turd on the Bristol stool chart? 7 is water, 1 is like little rabbit droppings.
I'd say 5. It was kind of like like the 99 flake ice cream. It's kind of like that.
Oh, right. Okay, decent. That's a solid turd. Fairs. Alfie says Steele shouldn't get in, but to come in and replace Sanchez, he was great. You're not wrong, Alfie. Yeah, so before we get into Liverpool, Liam, I'm wanting to put in Allison in the team of the year. Do you concur, or do you want to make an argument for Nick Pope for some reason?
Absolutely not.
Where would Liverpool be without him, do you think, this season?
Hard to tell. I would have said like 7th. If I hadn't seen that Kelleher disaster class on Sunday. So I'm going to say like 10th.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's fair enough. Hello, Kante. Hello, Shay. How are we? Shop says Allison is an amazing shout. Didn't realise because of how shite Liverpool were for most part of the season. Oh, well, there was at one point where he was just like their best player by a mile. And I'd actually be interested to see what Liverpool's expected goals against.
Oh, it's ridiculously high.
So
it's so high.
Yeah. So it was. So their expected goals against was 55.77, and they actually conceded 47, so that's a differential like nearly 9 that maybe Allison, I don't know how much he can be given credit for towards there, but obviously a lot, so that's incredibly impressive. So yes, for me it's got to be Allison. But yeah, Liam, Liverpool fan obviously. So what I want from you, Liam, is I want sort of like a summation of how you think the season's gone, if you're disappointed relative to your expectations. I'd also like you to grade Liverpool season. And then finally, I want you to touch on, right at the end, what your hopes are for the transfer window and next season.
Oh, okay. So, I think everyone knows it was a terrible season. I'd probably rank it like a 4 or 5. It's just, we should have got top 4. It's our own fault. Maybe if we finished 4th, I would have said like a 6. But because of that, like that little run straight after the World Cup, it's got to be a 4. Like losing 3-0 to Wolves away, for example, like it's ridiculous.
So just in terms of letter grades, would you say that's an E?
Oh yeah, doing it in letters. Shit, I didn't see that.
So that'll be the 3rd from bottom.
I'm gonna say U, to be honest.
Really? A U?
I think so, yeah.
You still got 5th? Yeah, I know, but I mean, a U, in my head, a U would have been reserved for, like Southampton, who finished like bottom. Or maybe Chelsea, who finished 12th.
If you're talking expectation-wise from the start of the season,
oh yeah, and that's why
I would say it's got to be a U. We should have been competing for trophies again, and now we're going to be playing in Lithuania away next season. So
Guys in
I
the
think-
chat, let me know, what do you think about that? Because, I mean, you started
It's
off by
definitely a U
saying...
or a F.
We started off by saying, well, it's a 4 or a 5 out of 10, which would have been, like
Yeah,
a D
true.
or an E. And now you're saying, no, 1 out of 10 or even 0 out of 10. So I just don't know.
Maybe F. Maybe because it's definitely not a pass.
Right. An F, you reckon? Guys in the chat,
Yeah.
let me know if you agree with that from Liam. We've got some questions for you, Liam, here, actually. Ed says, can you please ask Liam who he thinks will leave Liverpool in the summer? So obviously the free transfers have gone, like Ox and Cater and Milner.
Yeah.
But, are you going to be selling anyone, basically?
I think one of Matip or Gomez will go. I think I'm not sure what's going on with the Carvalho situation. It's a bit weird. Seems like he's got some sort of like attitude issue.
Right.
I'm not sure if any of you saw his Instagram comments, but
I
he's
did
been
not.
saying some shit on there.
Against the club?
So he posted like pictures of himself, and someone said like, "Are you a full-time model now?"
Right.
And he said, "That's all I'm doing nowadays," or something like
Oh, right. Okay.
that. And then like Elanga was commenting on his posts, and he said like, "Fresh home soon" or something like that. So yeah, it does seem like he's got some sort of attitude issue, because the ways like the Bernabeu game that I can't. There's no way there's not something wrong, because he came on for like 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that was so weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was so bizarre. I mean, Will's even said fully forgot Carvalho existed.
Yeah, he had such a good start to the season, and then he just disappeared. He got put in the basement. He's literally. This is exactly what happened to Shaqiri. What's going on right now? Just disappeared.
Interesting.
So he'll probably go maybe on loan. I'm hoping it's on loan. And if we do sell him, I'd want to buy back.
Yeah, because there's potential in there, you reckon?
Yeah. I think maybe Tsimikas and Kelleher,
Yeah.
but I can't really see anyone else.
Will asks, how would you rate a window of I'm going to butcher his pronunciation, Undika, Kunde, McAllister, and Thuram? How happy would you be with that?
It's tough because it's not really fixing all that. I'd say maybe a 6 or 7.
Mhm.
It's still leaving us short, I'd say. The 2 midfielders, yeah, definitely I'd want them, but I think we probably need 1 or 2 more, because we're losing like 4.
Yeah.
And defender wise, I don't really want Ndika, to be honest. It would be free, but I don't know. I've not seen enough of him. Kunde I'd be happy with.
Yeah. Speaking of Kunde, Tab says, I'll chop my left testicle off if Kunde joins Liverpool this window, right? Someone quote that in case it happens. Kante says, Liam, if you were to sign someone from City who would be a realistic signing, who would that be?
I don't really think anyone would be realistic, to be honest.
No, yeah, probably not.
Maybe Laporte.
Yeah, half realistic. Yeah. To be fair, that's probably the most realistic one. There's also a quality one that would help you, for sure. Shop says, you would be a Nottingham Forest for me. For the amount of good signings they've made, I certainly thought they would be Brentford or in the previous season. That's an interesting take on Forest's, Liam. Where would you rank Forest's season if you had to give them a grade? They finished in 16th in the end, newly promoted, safe on the final
I'd probably
day.
say C.
Made a lot of signings.
C or D, because they still stayed up.
Yeah.
And I know they spent a lot of money, but they done well in the end, like with how far down they were. Weren't they like quite far down?
Yeah. They were in the relegation zone for a minute, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I'd probably say C or D.
C or D. Well, I'll pop in the C for now. That can maybe change. Will says Forest is not a U. That's diabolical. Yeah, Will, let me know where you think Forest should be. And then what do I want to do next? And then Liam, the final thing before we go, yeah, because you've ranked them, is let's have another player in the team of the season. Give me a defender, Liam. And the way we're doing this, by the way, is we're just doing it as 4 defenders. So if you wanted, you could have 4 left backs, for example. So, and in the same way when it comes to the forwards, we're just doing, it's like how the PFA voting system works. So give me a defender. Who do you think deserves to go in the team of the season?
Purely because I think he deserves it, and it's not like a sexy answer.
Right.
I want Dan Burn in there.
Dan Burn, okay, right. I'll need to be convinced of that. Tell me more.
Just a random shout, to be honest. I was going to go safe and say Diaz, but...
Do you just want to be a hipster? Is that what this is?
Yeah. Dan Burn or Botman. I want a Newcastle one in there.
You could have Trippier.
Trippier's boring. Give me Botman.
He's boring, but I could say Alisson's boring.
Yeah, but look at Alisson. Just look at his face. He deserves to be there.
It can say yes, you can call in. Yeah, we just had a chat with Will about Borough actually. Will says probably agree with C, maybe D. I think a C or a D. I totally agree. Kante said I'd give Forest a C, beating teams like Liverpool and Arsenal in your first season of class, and of course staying up, and also getting a point against City for sure. So
Tab, mate, don't shit on Dan Burn. He's good.
Right. So Liam, what I'm going to do there is I'm going to take your Dan Burn suggestion under advisement. And we'll consult the chat. But there we go. Thank you for joining. We might get you back on the call later. Sound good?
Yeah, I might be asleep, but we'll see.
No worries at all. See you, Liam. Thank you so much for joining. Dan Burn was okay, a little overrated, just a big bastard. Village says the criteria to not be boring is to be ugly. Ed says Dan Burn's been solid. Pim, you can be next, yeah, if you want. Woodzinchenko could be a bad shout considering his impact on the Arsenal team this season. I think it'd be a very decent shout for sure. I think it'd be a shout. I don't think I'd personally have him in my team, but let me know, guys. I mean, who's been? Don't worry about who's been the best left back, who's been the best right back, who's been the best centre back. Who do you guys think has been the best defender this whole season? So some of the names that have been said so far: Zinchenko, Dan Burn, Trippier. No one's mentioned Martinez yet, or Varane of Man United. There's obviously Ruben Diaz, Saliba. Some people want to say Gabriel, Ake, Ben White. Who do you guys think has been the best? Could be Eric Dyer. Tayab, yes, mate, you can come on. Don't worry. Shob says Ake. Got to be Diaz as well. John Stones, Trent. Who do you think, though, Village? Who do you think has been? I mean, we do have 4 slots. I personally think the answer is I think that a really safe answer is Ruben Diaz. I think basically everyone would have him in their top 4 defenders. I'd probably have him, like at least top 3. So I am gonna pop in Ruben Diaz right now, but. It doesn't. Don't worry about oh, we've already used up half the centre back slots. If we want, we can have 4 centre backs. So for example, if you think, let's say we get to a point where we've only got the right back slot and we haven't said Trippier or Saliba, you could have Saliba in there if you really wanted to. Hello Rob, how are we? There we go. Diaz and Stones as a centre back, says Jack. We will get into the other defender later, but I'm going to throw Pim into the call right now. Yeah, Rob, I'm doing fantastic, mate. How about yourself? Are you looking forward to the FA Cup final? Will says Diaz, Ake, Botman, and Saliba. And Pim, hello, first of all.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. Just before we touch on Man United, do you agree with Ruben Diaz getting in there?
Yes.
Fantastic. Tab says, guess where Pim is from. Well, I believe that he's Dutch living in Scotland. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Well, there we go. Yeah, we're doing it by teams as well, Tab. I'm going to be getting Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Big up, Rob. Big up. Liam says I'm going to have a lot to say for the right wing position. That's fine. Yeah, if there's a position you totally disagree with, like you're really passionate about, then yeah, we can. Then we can definitely talk about that. But yeah, so who would you have as like the if you don't think Diaz has been the best defender, first of all, Pim, who do you think has to make the back four? Who's been like the best or the second best defender? Doesn't have to be a fullback. Doesn't have to be a centre back specifically. It can be anyone.
Has to be Lissandro Martinez. It just has to be.
Martinez, you think? Yeah. So you'd say he's been better than Shaw this season, for example.
I think for expectations, like we know Shaw can be good. Martinez, people are saying 5'9" can't do it, and he's been. I think he's been close to elite level.
So I guess I'm going to try to predict what people might counter that with. I think a lot of people would probably say, "What about Saliba?" ? So who do you think Martinez has been better than Saliba this season?
Maybe not Saliba, but you are going for a full. We can play and defend at the back. It's different if there's one centre back allowed.
Yeah, well, yeah. If there's absolutely. If there's space, there seems to be a lot of disagreements in the chat. So I will just take that under advisement for now, and we might come back to it later, just because I feel like the defense is going to be where most people disagree. But that's absolutely fine. I think Teb, for example, even disagrees with him being the best United defender, which is interesting. Teb says no United defender gets in. And let's talk about United, shall we?
Most clean sheets, you have to be in. At least one defender has to be in for most clean sheets. You don't put the hair in, so someone else has to be there.
So United ended up finishing third. I don't know where you predicted them to finish, Pim. I said sixth.
I put them top four.
So yes, so they finished maybe around where you expected them to be. But I think for a lot of people, they exceeded expectations. Also won a League Cup and are in the FA Cup final. So where would you grade United's season, and just tell me about the season generally as well?
I'm gonna say B.
Oh, only a B. Okay, interesting.
Well, no, I think because you can't look past it. There's been some games where we've been absolute. So Liverpool, City, I think City twice were poor against both times. I think Europa League, we should have beat Sevilla. We should have, because I think they're dog shit.
Yeah.
Look at them. I think they're 11th in the league or something like that, or like doing poor in the league. I would say B plus, so upper end of B, so better than Fulham.
Okay.
Because I think we could have done better. There was games where we should have done better, like Southampton 0-0 draw. Shouldn't be drawn to bottom of the league.
It's a hypothetical, but let's say you win the FA Cup final, would you then be tempted to pump it up to an A?
Yeah.
That's fair. Tab says losing 7-0 and a B. To be fair, I probably would have put them in an A because of how they have. Well, maybe I was underselling them. They exceeded my expectations and they've won a trophy. And they are in another cup final. I know they didn't do great in Europe and stuff, but I think it's actually been a very positive season for them. Let me know who you guys think. Where you guys think they should go. Is Pim being a bit harsh on his club, or do you guys agree? Jack says up the Saints. Yeah, if we could have you for Southampton, Jack, and City, that'd be great. Oren says I miss out on Liverpool. Oren, mate, you can come in later and you can rank another side and have a quick chat about Liverpool and also, talk about someone in the team of the season. Don't worry about it. Will says literally everyone thought United wouldn't get top four and they got it comfortably with a trophy. Yeah, I agree, Will. I think Pim's being harsh. Do you accept, Pim, that most people thought United weren't getting top four this season?
Well, yeah, because you look at Spurs were shit, Chelsea were shit, Liverpool were shit. I think in a different season we don't get top four. Maybe we do, because if you put if you take this season's points tally compared to last season, we still do get top four.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I think you're being harsh. I'm gonna personally move it up to A, because I think United have had a very good season. I think that maybe it's just because you got different expectations, so you're being a bit more reasoned and harsh. But I think that's absolutely fine. Shop says United should be A. Ronaldo drama, battered by Brighton, Brentford at the start. It should be an A and also be the top 6 at their home stadium. Oren says impressive season from players like Rashford and Martinez. Yes, indeed. Let's have a look at the... See, what was interesting, I didn't realise this. United actually, overperformed relatively significantly in respect of expected points. So they were actually, according to, expected points, they should have come, 6th? So they have overperformed quite a lot. What, realistically, can you expect next season, Pim, and what needs to happen for that to happen?
Well, first of all, we need to hear to go. I don't care what anyone says. We need to hear to leave because he's all shit.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to get a keeper. Can be anyone from Robert Sanchez to Diogo Costa from Porto. Anyone who can use their feet, claim crosses and sweep. That's all you need. Shot stopping is the most bullshit stat ever.
Yeah, so that's at the back. I'm assuming you want someone to replace Weghorst as well? Up top?
Yeah, because I think we'll have 9 or 10 outgoings easily.
And
a lot will leave.
Realistic. I know Harry Kane's been touted as a name. I don't know how realistic that is.
Don't want Kane.
You don't want Kane. Okay, so who would be like your ideal / bordering on realistic forward signing for United?
Well, if we didn't get banned, it would have been Tony, but
oh yeah, of course.
Can't be Tony. Maybe like Højlund from Atalanta, or maybe Gonçalo Ramos.
Oh yeah. Well, my United fans don't deserve success. Brilliant. Matty, who's also a United fan, says, I dream for Osimhen. Teb says,
too expensive.
Apparently, yeah, it's Napoli, isn't it? It's going to be pretty hard to deal with them. Teb says, apparently, Agent Bruno is getting us Gonçalo Ramos. And Shob, I will ask that to the next United fan if that's okay. So keep that question, Shob, for Tayab, and we'll ask that later because we've got another United fan who wants to come on. Alfie says, United, please buy Tyrese Campbell off of us from Stoke. Fantastic. Yes, but let's say for argument's sake, you get, I don't know who you get specifically, but let's say you replace De Gea with a competent ball-playing keeper, and you get a striker, not necessarily Kane or Osimhen or whoever, but someone in the mould of that sort of level, who's, an upgrade on what you've currently got. What can United challenge for the title, or is that too soon?
No, it's still too soon. We still need 2 or 3 more signings.
That's fair. So I appreciate the realism. That is absolutely fine. Just speaking of strikers, actually, Pim, can we now pick a forward player for the team of the season, and can you pick the really obvious player who has to go in?
I'm not picking the really obvious player.
Right, shall I pick him for you?
No. Is it the same rules? Is it the same rules? What's it called? Is it centre backs where the defence was saying it's not a striker, left wing, right wing. It's just 3 forwards. Yeah,
because we're doing it based on PFA team of the season rules.
I am doing Marcus Rashford.
Over who?
Not just that left wing. But if it was actually like how you would do it, it would be left wing.
But we're not doing it like that. We're doing forwards.
I know. I'm still putting Rashford in.
So that's fine. But so which forwards has he performed? So has he been better than Haaland this season?
Well, no one has.
Right. Has he been better than Harry Kane this season?
No.
Has he been better than Saka this season?
I think he has been better than Saka in terms of what you expect. But Rashford was dog shit last season, and last season he was awful.
But I'm not interested in what we expect. I'm interested in what happened. I'm not giving Rashford. I'm
still putting Rashford.
Right. Okay. I'm good. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry, Pim. I can't.
No, you can disagree with it. I think it is my team of the season. I think there's three United players.
Okay. Has he been better than Martinelli and Salah this season, do you think?
He's been better than Martinelli.
Has he been better than Salah?
In the league, no. Overall, yes.
Right. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, yeah. Are we doing this overall? I guess we are doing this overall.
Is it all comps? And Rashford being like, was he on like 40 goal contributions this season?
I guess it probably is all comps. That probably makes. Let me know, guys. Should we do all comps or nah? I think we probably should. Shob says 3 months of purple patch ain't fooling anyone. I'm sorry, Pim. I am going to overrule you. I'm just going to pop Haaland in. because it's obvious. Like
Shocking.
that's not in dispute. That's not in debate. Oh well, Will says it's literally a Prem team of the season. Don't do all comps. Okay, we'll just do the Premier League, and that's fine. We'll just do the Premier League. Does that change your answer then? Does that change your answer then, Pim?
For Rashford, 100%. Because then it would be what Kane. It'll be Kane, Haaland, what Salah then?
Interesting. Well, I think the right wing position might be hotly contested, so we'll have a chat about
Wasn't
that.
Salah on like what 32 goal contributions, something like that?
Well,
Something
exactly.
close
It's
to
going to be I imagine it's going to be a debate of Salah versus Saka. I'd like to get Will and Liam in for that later because I know who's going to be supporting who. But there we go. All right, Pim, you've been brilliant. Thank you so much, mate. And we might get you in later, yeah?
Yeah.
See you, matey. Bye-bye.
See ya.
There we go. That was Pim with some controversial takes there, trying to pop United in B. I think A is fair. I think you guys agree as well. Trying to throw in Rashford into the front three. I agree with you guys. We will just do it the Prem team of the season. You are quite correct. It's not all competitions. We'll just do it based on the Premier League season. So we're not interested in FA Cup, League Cup, etc., etc. You don't have to wait in the VC table. We'll get through to everyone. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. Let's bring in Ed now, shall we? Who is a Coventry fan. Hello, Ed.
Hello.
How are you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm good.
Fabulous. Have you recovered?
Yes and no. I mean, I was, and then I find out that the person that took the penalty that inevitably missed has now been released.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dabo.
Oh gosh, why is that then?
I'd say it was his injury. I mean, he started the season at wing back. He got injured. Norton Cuffy came in, and Dabo just missed games. And now he's been released with his last kick being the penalty.
That's such a shame. Yeah, I don't want to. I know hindsight's a beautiful thing, but I did watch the penalty shootout, and I did think that every other player that came up beforehand for both sides, they looked confident. They looked like they were ready for it. But I don't know what you thought. But when he was
he was shaking his head.
Yeah, like he was looking down. I know, as I say, I know hindsight's a thing, but it just didn't really feel like. Did you get that impression as well?
Yes, I mean, I remember I was with my dad watching the game, and as he walked up to it, I said he's going to miss this. And I wish I never said anything, but you could just tell. I mean, we don't really have any penalty takers. I mean, we have Matty Gordon. And Vic has been prolific all season, but like he can't take a penalty. He scored, and I think all of them scored fairly good penalties. But like in terms of if you want them to be taking a penalty, I backed Luton a lot more when it came to it because they can take them.
Yeah.
But in some ways, I think Luton deserved it, and in some ways I think we did. I mean, we were shambolic in the first half. I mean, it was like we were watching the League Two playoff final. Like, oh my, we could not defend. Second half, we gave them a much better game. But the better team won it in the end. The better team won it. That's
fair enough. Yeah, Oren says Coventry looked good in the second half. Yeah, I was mainly doing FM whilst watching it, but yeah, I did think Coventry were the team in the ascendancy, and they did score a really nice goal as well. Jack says, I was so happy when that shootout ended because I was holding in a piss. Yeah, well, yeah, I was so hot in my room I had to end the stream. I was like, right, guys, I need to go eat some food. This game's going on way too long. Adebayo's assist in the final. So, yeah, but both goals were really high quality, I thought, to be fair. It was two very good goals. Will asks you, Ed, where do you stand on Akpom versus Vic? He can do it based on this season and overall if he likes.
Ooh. Well, I think they're both really good players. I think they're both better than Championship level. I think Akpom's really started to shine under Carrick. I mean, at the start of the season, I don't even think he had a squad number. And he came in and he scored lots of goals. I think Vic is very much a solo striker in the regard that I don't think we Coventry operate two systems. We have two strikers when Godden's on the pitch, and when Godden's not on the pitch, it's Vic on his own. And when Vic scores, he's on his own. He's very good at holding the ball and turning for the shot, and Akpom seems to get really involved with the play. I think Akpom's probably better all round, but Vic has stronger assets in terms of holding the ball up and getting in behind.
There we go. Will, let me know what your thoughts on that answer is. Let me know if you agree or not. And Kante asks you, Ed, what are your thoughts on Ben Wilson not handling the ball in the penalty shootout?
In the penalty shootout, well, he dived the right way quite a lot of the time, but diving the right way is not saving it. That will be in reference to the goal that he scored against Blackburn in the 95th minute to effectively send us into the playoffs.
Got it.
It didn't hit his hand. A goal is a goal, but you know, you can see from behind the goal, if you watch it, he like jumps into it and it hits his like hip and then off his thigh into the net.
That's fair. Will says completely agree, by the way. I think as a partnership, they would be brilliant. There we go. We've got some championship harmony there. Toby asks me, I think, do you think Liverpool will or could challenge City once more next season? Absolutely, they could if they get their recruitment spot on, but I think they have to have a really strong window for that to happen, Toby. That's my take on that. Last championship question for you, Ed, and I'll ask you just about a couple of Premier League sides. I asked Will this question as well. It's a stacked championship next season.
Yeah.
Have Coventry missed out on their chance, or do you think that they can compete for playoffs again next year?
I think it very much depends on how the squad looks. I think Gyökeres is effectively gone. I mean, Brentford are obviously without a striker now.
Yeah.
And they've been heavily linked with him since January. I find the thing I could never quite understand with Coventry is they normally accept just any sort of money for when it comes to players, and Everton did come in for him in January, and I think they offered nearly 30 million, and we turned that down to hold on to him. But he's got a year left on his contract now, and I think we've got to the point where he is going to leave. If we can bring in somebody that can do what he does, which I think will be hard to find, then I reckon we could be upper mid-table, maybe pushing playoffs. I don't think we'll actually get to the playoffs because, as you say, next season it's going to be very stacked with quality sides. I think we'll be good enough to survive the drop, but I think we could potentially turn out to be like Huddersfield. But I'm going to hopefully say mid-table.
That is fair. Thank you for that answer. Jack says just sign Haaland. Yeah, I mean, just do it, man. You know what I mean?
He is a Cov fan.
There you go. Easy. I also want to talk to you about Everton, if that's okay, Ed, because I know they're your second team. Before we talk about Everton, though, would you like to pick a midfielder for our Premier League team of the season? So who do you think deserves to be... Well, I mean, basically the question is, who do you think's been the best midfielder this season? What names are you thinking?
The first one that pops to mind is Odegaard.
Yeah.
I think he's been really creative, and I think he was part of the key element of Arsenal's goals, certainly before the end of the season. So I'd argue Odegaard.
Yeah, I totally agree that he's at least, you know, in whether you think he's the first, second, or third best, he's surely in the top three midfielders. Let me know if anyone disagrees with that. But I think it's fair to say that it's got to be Odegaard. Shob says Rodri first, KDB later. Kante says, Ed, what about the plan? I don't know what that's in reference to. Do you know what that's in reference to, Ed?
Oh, signings. Yeah, we were talking about signings.
Oh, sorry. He just says, ask Ed if he remembers the plan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I meant to argue Gus Hamer. Because he's Premier League quality, mate. Just get him in there.
Got it.
He's not played a game in the Premier League yet, but like he's going to be the best.
There we go. So Ed's locked in Odegaard. That's an uncontroversial pick. Well done, Ed. I think everyone agrees with that. Shane Flanster, Wes Henderson says Liam. And I'm just going to... I don't think we've got anyone to talk about Palace, so I'm just going to pop Palace into C because I think they've, been mid-table in 11th. That's fine. That's what I expect from them. But Everton, Ed, just survived relegation. How would you grade their season? 2 points off of the drop in the end.
They wasted everyone's time. Get them in you. I don't care. Like they don't deserve anything else. I mean, at the end of last season, the whole point was to make sure they weren't in that situation again, and they were, and they played shambolic football for most of the season. Deitch came in, and I really thought they were going to go down.
Yeah.
For a large point of the season, I think it's a miracle in many ways that they've stayed up.
Yeah.
They need to build next season. They need to make sure they can just comfortably survive. But you could say F, I suppose, because they didn't go down.
Yeah, they did survive, to be fair.
But like, if you thought watching Everton this season that they were going to stay up, then I think you need a reality check.
Right. Yeah.
Because they did not play any good football. I mean, I think the only reason they're still where they are is because they have Pickford in goal.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We've got the two. So, okay, and now the question is, who's had a bet? Because I want to rank it left to right. Because Liverpool are also in F. Who's had the better season, Liverpool or Everton?
I think that's a really dumb question. Obviously, it's Everton.
They've had the better season.
No. I mean, Liverpool with Europa League is probably not where they should be, but it's European football. They can't complain.
We could always move Liverpool up to E if we don't think that Liverpool and Everton should be in the same tier.
I mean, you're comparing one team that's just survived from playing in the Championship and one team that's got European football.
Yeah.
So I'd put them in E. But...
Yeah, that's echoed in the chat. Tab says Liverpool have had a far better season. Yeah, I think Liam was being a bit too harsh earlier. Will says it's an F, but a 0. Where Everton and Liverpool have had similar levels of success. Yes, we can just move Liverpool up one tier if we'd like. Hello, Wes. It's been ages. How are you doing, bro? Hopefully well. Welcome back, my mate. Liam says this is abysmal. Do you think that Everton deserve to be in the same tier as Liverpool, Liam? That would be interesting. Jackson stick pull up a couple. Yeah, we can always move these later on if we so desire. But Ed, thank you so much for joining me, matey, and thank you for picking another player for our team of the season. I'll speak to you later. There we go. That was Ed. Lovely stuff. Lovely jubbly. Read your Vic question. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that, Tab. I apologise. Shop says, don't doubt Big Sean. He doesn't deserve to see football. Big Sean, the king of avoiding relegations. Absolutely. We've just done a Championship fan, so let's do another Premier League fan, and then we'll come to Alfie. I know you've been waiting a long time, Alfie, but we'll do the Championship after another Premier League fan. Wes has just had A-levels, it's a half term, got a bit of time to show excellent stuff. Wes, hope your A-levels went very well. But yes, hello, Oren.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm alright.
Fantastic.
I was hearing you twice.
Fantastic. There's just been a bit of a controversy about where Liverpool should be ranked. Do you think the E grade is fine, or should we pump it up to a D, or what?
You know what? That's a tough question. It's been a bad season for Liverpool, but I don't think it has been bad to say that we're, I don't know. It's not been an awful season. It's not been a great season, but we've got European football.
Yeah.
And we've got a bit of improvement to do, but we have some positives. We got Bajtekic. He's been a positive. Alisson's always been a positive. Him with his nice little beautiful beard.
Yep.
What else? I don't know. I'd say probably E would be the right spot, because again, it's been a bad season. Lots of players in decline. Yeah. Fabinho's been awful. Henderson's been awful. Lots of our midfield's been awful. I'd say basically every midfielder apart from Bajtekic and maybe Thiago Alcantara, that's a maybe, have been bad this year. Our defence has been bad. Van Dijk's form has fallen off a cliff. I swear, the ghost of Dejan Lovren has possessed the fucker. It's not been great. Trent has had a little dip in form, but he's played fantastically these last 10 games. Got 7 assists last 10 games. Absolutely fantastic from modern day David Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's just been horrific for Liverpool this year.
Yeah, it is. It's your worst season in 7 years. In fact, Liam says try and outline the positives to me when we're playing Slavia Vilnius on a Thursday night next season. Excuse me. So we have already discussed Liverpool quite a bit, and Oren, I must say that your microphone is appalling. The amount of
Hold on.
the amount of static is outrageous, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I do want to ask you, Oren, because we've already graded Liverpool. I want another player to make our Premier League team of the season. You can pick a forward player. You can pick a midfielder, a defender. Who do you think should get in?
You know what? Let me put my print on this. Let's put Estupiñán from Brighton.
Okay. Do you think so? We don't actually have to put in a left back. We can have 4 centre backs if we want. So would you be happy to have him in there with that knowledge?
Like, why would you put 4 centre backs in there? Like, that's just bad. That's just bad management there.
Well, it's because it's based on the PFA. So it's fine if we want to put him in. You know, I'm willing to have a chat about that. But so, for example, has he been better than Saliba and Martinez and Trippier and John Stones and Varane?
Well, like, if you put it like that, like, I think he's been the best left back this year. But again, left back has been quite, you know, low standards this season. You know, I'd say the best left back's probably been Estupiñán and maybe Zinchenko and Shaw. And even then, both of those lads have been.
Oh wait, what about Ake?
Well, I mean, he plays for Man City. He's naturally going to look good.
Brilliant. Liam says Estupiñán is one of the biggest bozo genes I've ever seen. Just get Ake in there. Estupiñán doesn't even get in if we do traditional left backs. Yeah, I don't personally agree he's been the best left back. Shop's previous message. Considering the standard for both teams, I wouldn't disagree if Everton and Liverpool were in F. Liverpool had a marquee signing who was said to outscore Haaland after the Community Shield. Pimmers, Colin, Erdegaard, a fraud. Interesting. Right, I don't know if we're ever going to get to the bottom of this defense. We might have to do the defenders last, actually, because it's going to might run and run. But so do you want to give me a forwards then, Oren? Who would be your vote for a forward? Again, doesn't have to be a left winger.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a right winger.
I'll put in Rashford there. Rashford's had a pretty good season.
Has he been better than Harry Kane?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think Harry Kane, look, has great numbers, right? But like, European football is not very good. It's not very good.
But it's only the Premier League team of the season. We're not doing all comps.
But like, still, there's no. He's 8th. He led a team to 8th place.
He scored 30 goals.
He's led a team to 8th place, right? Rashford's led a team to a trophy and 3rd place. And like, you know, like, oh my god.
I'm sorry, Oren. I'm overruling you. We're putting in Harry Kane.
Why are you putting? No, like, he placed 8th this season.
Right.
8th place.
Right, that's outrageous, Oren. Thank you so much for joining, mate. I'll speak to you later.
See you, lad.
That's outrageous, Oren. Oh my gosh. Right, I've overruled him there. We've put in Harry Kane. That's a thing that is happening. No, it's no. If Haaland didn't exist, then Harry Kane will probably be getting Player of the Year because this man has scored 30 goals, and sadly, it's because of Haaland. No one cares about it. It's such a shame. But there we go. If the team was decided on placements to the full City 11, McTominay better than Kane because he finished highest as Alfie. Fantastic. Interesting logic there from Oren. Right. I'm going to just do a couple more teams in the tier list. Wolves, for example, like, you know, eventually they finished like sort of mid-table. I think, would you probably expect them to finish around mid-table? I think that's maybe a C, maybe a D. Let me know what you guys reckon. Ed says respect Kane. Liverpool have entered the race for Gladbach's midfield prodigy. Have already contacted his agent to express the interest. The entourage describes the interest as genuine. Oh, is that source good, Liam? What do you reckon? A fat D for Wolves says Jack. I think C or D is fine for them. Just refresh my memory where they finished. 13th. Yeah, it's probably about right, to be fair. Oren, mate. We'll be having less of that. West Ham A-star says Miz. And speaking of A star, I don't think we'll have a Newcastle fan here. I think Newcastle have to go into A star because there's no way anyone predicted them to get Champions League football. They were in the relegation zone last season. I appreciate the takeover happened, but they haven't even spent like an obscene amount of money. So I think that they've got to be in A star for me. I think that's a no-brainer. Hashtag Kane's a fraud. Oren, where is this agenda come from? I don't understand. I just don't understand it. What's going on? And shall we do like another random? No, not random's not a fair word, but like a team where I know that no one's really going to come on and chat about them. Aston Villa, for example, have finished in 7th place in a Europa spot, finishing ahead of Spurs, finishing ahead of Chelsea. Aston Villa, at one point they were also in like the relegation zone. I mean, it's at least a B. Do we think that it might get pushed up to an A, or am I being too generous? Villa, no, okay, no, I'm not being too generous. Jack says A. Will says the Villa is also an A. I totally agree with that. We are going to have someone to talk about West Ham. We are going to have someone to talk about City. We might have someone to talk about Chelsea. We might have someone to talk about Arsenal. We sometimes have someone to talk about Brentford. We will have someone to talk about Southampton. Probably not Spurs, unless Owl comes in. We probably want someone to talk about Spurs, Leicester, etc. Who else? I mean, should we pop anyone in U? Leicester, where did Leicester go? I mean, they got relegated, didn't they? So it's probably at least an F. You could even argue a U. I think Newcastle deserve to get A star. As I say, they finished in 4th place. I predicted them to finish in 7th, and I thought that was being generous. And they got to a League Cup final. I think that's fine. Optimism shouldn't exist, says Liam. Unai Supremacy says Jack. Aston Villa was going to get relegated with Sleepy G. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They didn't win anything. I know they didn't, but Brentford didn't win anything last season. I put them in the top tier. Leicester needs to be a tier below you because they were so bad. Let's pop them in you. Then they wasted everyone's time, especially with like the quality of the players that they have at their disposal. And then on a similar vein, shall we just get Leeds out of the way as well? Are Leeds an F or a U? They're obviously not an E. They didn't pass, so they're at the most an F. But did they waste our time? Let me know what you reckon. I worry for Leicester, says Oren. Yeah, if they don't sort out their FFP situation, then they are in a massive mare. A massive mare. It's a shame we've already talked about Fulham because Wes is waiting in the wings and he's a Fulham fan. That would have been fun to have a proper chat with, but we will still talk about him. Leeds are a U. Let's pop them in there then. I think Leicester have had a worse season based on the quality. Shop says, where does Maddison go from here now? It's a great question. I don't know the answer. There's been a lot of talk about James Maddison maybe going to somewhere like City. I know. There's nothing wrong with him. He's a fine player. I think maybe somewhere like Newcastle could be fun. I wouldn't want him at City. I think that sort of, that 4th to 7th place sort of team, I think that would be a decent shout for Maddison. Newcastle United, could that be a thing? I don't know. Will says, to be fair, I rated Fulham. I didn't really watch them this season, so he can redo my ranking. No, Will, I agree with your ranking. I'm sure Wes will as well. Maddison to Newcastle fits very well. Maddison's going Newcastle. Yeah, lots of people are saying Newcastle. I think that would make the most sense. I've managed a player I wouldn't mind. Did he sign a contract extension recently or something? A shop says, I'd love to see him at Newcastle or Liverpool. I think Newcastle 100% makes a fair bit of sense. They've got a fair few English players there, I'm pretty sure, as well. Right. let's do a community position now, shall we? I want us to pick a defender. Doesn't have to be a left back. Doesn't have to be a right back. Doesn't have to be a centre back. Let me give you some names that we can work with. Trippier, Ben White, Saliba, Martinez, Ake, Varane, Stones, Gabriel if you really want. Who do we think... If we think Diaz has been the best defender or second best, who do we think has been the best or second best? My instinct is Saliba. I know he picked up an injury towards the end of the season, but especially for the first half of the season, he was outrageous. So my instinct is Saliba. Let me know what you guys think. Oren says Saliba. Will says, I don't know, I think Barnes isn't good enough to be a squad player for City. He should be going to a Brighton. Saliba or Ake, says Will. Get Saliba's gone. Saliba, Arsenal's record with and without him is shocking. Saliba, Arsenal severely missed him. I think the answer is Saliba. I totally agree. I tell you what, I'll do that. I'll pop in Saliba there just for my OCD, just because Diaz does often play at the left side. Jack says Botman or Stones. Well, they could still squeeze in, but I do think that Saliba... I do agree with bloody Rashford. I do agree with the Saliba one for sure. Stones played DMF with Rodri, so would it be fair to have him at centre-half? Well, that's why I think Stones is probably going to miss out because of his weird hybrid position. And also, it's only the Premier League, so I think that's why it's probably fair for Stones to miss out on this one. But Alfie has been waiting for ages, so we're now going to have a chat with Alfie. Hello, mate. Can you hear me? Well, I couldn't. It was upsetting me because I know he doesn't play there, but I know Diaz often plays there for City. It was upsetting me. Alfie, mate, can you hear me, bro? Hello, mate. Hello? Oh, I heard some noise there.
Hello?
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Hello?
Hello?
I'm doing alright. How are you doing?
I'm doing bloody great, Alfie. Thank you so much for asking. You're a Stoke fan, yes? Hello? Oh, I can see you trying to talk, but I can't see anything come out of it.
Hey.
Hello?
Is my mic fucking up here?
I think it is, Alfie, yes.
Yeah, hello?
Oh, we might have to call this,
Bloody hell.
Oh. I tell you what, Alfie, do you want to come back? Do you want to try to sort out your mic and then we'll get you in later?
I will do that.
Excellent stuff, Alfie. Right, we'll hopefully speak to you later. There we go. That was Alfie. Lovely speaking to him. Right, we'll have a chat with Alfie later, who is a Stoke fan. Who shall we get in next? Let's get in Jack, shall we? And Jack is a Manchester City and Southampton connoisseur. AirPods having a nightmare. Alfie, don't you try to sort it out, Alfie. We'll try to get you on later. Jack, mate, how are you?
Hi, guys.
How you doing, bro?
I'm pretty good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing great because I'm speaking to you.
Oh.
Southampton, Jack. It's got to be bottom of the bottom, yeah.
I don't know. I'll give a B, maybe.
Tell me more.
No.
Interesting.
Just stick us between Leeds and Leicester, please.
Do you think you've had a better season than Leicester?
In terms of, like, when you look at the two squads, yes.
Okay. I'll allow that. That's perfectly acceptable. That's fine. So I guess touching on the championship questions, how confident are you that you're just going to come straight back up? Or are you not confident? Do you think you'll lose a lot of your players, like Lavia, for example? What are your thoughts? What are your fears?
All right, hold on. Let me get our current squad up. I'm going to do a keep, sell, loan.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll go through it.
That's fine. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's a good shout.
Alex McCarthy, he can go. Willie Caballero, he can go. Bazunu, I don't want him to go, but we're looking to sell him for some stupid reason. So he can go, I guess. Walker Peters won't stay. Lianco, I don't think will stay either. Seletasar can kill himself.
Jesus.
James Bree, he can stay, I guess. Perot won't stay. He's too good. Livramento's already said he's going to stay.
Right.
So, very happy with that. Salisu, love him, but no.
Right.
Larios, not seen enough. Keep him, I guess. Bednarek, he can also kill himself.
Right. This is sounding like a big squad overhaul. So, like, what does that mean for next season? Does that mean that you are going to be signing a lot of players, or are you fucked? What's going on?
I hope so, because if we go into next season with a squad looking like what we have at the moment, I'm preparing for life in League One.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, Will says, I can see Southampton coming straight back up. The City C team under a coach like Martin will do very well. I have them getting first. What are your thoughts on that positive spin by Will?
I do think like we have a very good chance of coming straight back up because players that are likely to stay are either very good or championship proven.
Right. So, and I guess the next question I have is Lavia, who has a what's the deal? He's got a not release clause. Oh no, it is a release clause. Pardon?
What, with City?
Something like that. Next season or something.
Yeah, 40 million buyback clause.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said about Lavia. Is he staying or is he off to a Premier League club?
My mind will be blown if he somehow stays. I don't know where he'll go, but he will go.
Well, I was going to say, in terms of quality, what sort of team are we talking about?
Who needs a 6? West Ham might.
Well, I mean, Brighton might need another midfielder if they sell, Caicedo, for example.
I don't mind him going to Brighton. I like Brighton.
Brighton are fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're good. Which team is... Oh, I was going to say it's Bournemouth that Southampton don't like. I was getting Palace and that rivalry confused.
See who they are.
Liverpool might...
Really care for Bournemouth.
Oh, what was that, Jack?
I don't really care for Bournemouth. I just don't really want to say the other team.
Which one's that? Portsmouth?
Yeah.
Just speaking about Bournemouth, Jack, where would you grade their season? Because a lot of people had them for relegation, myself included, but they've ended up finishing in 15th place, sorry.
I reckon a high B or a low A.
High B, low A, so in the same tier as Fulham, maybe?
Around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Chat, let me know if you think it should move up or down or stay the same. And also, Jack, you're obviously a Man City fan.
I didn't finish my keep sell loan.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I didn't even finish the defence.
But I think we got the point, Ari. That you going there's good.
There's some keeps in here.
Oh, okay. Let's have those keeps then.
Well, you only want them.
Yes.
Okay, I'd keep Aribo. I'd keep Stuart Armstrong. I'd keep Sulemana. I'd keep Alcaraz. I'd keep Adam Armstrong. I'd keep Che Adams. I'd keep Sekumara. And I'd keep Sam Edozie.
There we go. I noticed Edozie there, ex-City youngster. We love to see that. Hopefully he can do bits in the Championship. Kai and you all, thank you so much for following the channel, by the way. Feel free to get involved in the chat. And thank you, chat, for talking about Southampton and Bournemouth for us. But as I say, this is a dual-pronged one because you're also a City fan. A star, yeah? Because they won the league.
Yeah.
Nice. Lovely stuff. Obviously, sensational stuff. And Jack, I also want a suggestion for the team of the season. So we've got 2 defender slots, 2 midfielder slots, and the right wing slot now, or one more forward slot. Sorry. Now that's going to be a big debate, the forward one. So I'm not going to ask you for that one because I think that there's going to be a debate between Liam and Will about Saka versus Salah. Just out of interest for you, Jack, who gets in there?
What, the third forward spot?
Yeah.
Salah.
Interesting. Orange says Rashford, of course you do. Yes, so do you want to pick maybe or suggest a midfield option? The obvious names would be Partey, Rodri, Casemiro, Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes. Who else? Anyone else you might want to suggest?
No. I'm just gonna stick in Rodri. And
Rodri.
anyone, Will and Teo can fucking hold it.
Okay, so if you're having in Rodri, then who would be your final midfield player? Kevin.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the midfield's the easiest part.
Okay. I'm definitely. So I'm going to pop in Kevin because I know that's not going to be a controversial one. So there we go. Kevin De Bruyne also gets in. I totally agree with that. Oren says, how are you making a Liverpool fan defend a United player? Look, bloody Rashford, man. It's simply not happening. Will says, Armstrong and Adams is such a filthy front two. Yes. But yes, for your sake, Jack, I hope Southampton come straight back up. I don't know whether they will, because it is going to be a strong championship next season. But there's no reason why they can't do it if they get their recruitment correct and don't lose too many of their better players. Jack, do you have any final words or thoughts for us? On anything?
No.
Perfect. That's absolutely fine. Thank you so much for joining. Jack, I'll speak to you later, matey.
Bye, mate.
There we go. That was Jack. Lovely stuff. Beautiful scenes. Rob is back. Wonderful. Give me Tony and Watkins over Rashford, says Will. Yeah, so I haven't put in Roger just because I feel like there's going to be a debate between Casemiro, Partey, and Rodri. Just out of interest, guys, those seem to be the main names for the final midfield slot. If you had to pick between Partey, Rodri, and Casemiro, who would you guys pick as your player in that position? I'd be very interested to hear. Kai, yes, how are you doing, bro? As I say, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to... I guess it doesn't have to be a defensive midfielder, no? I don't think so. So you could have Fernandes in there if you wanted. But to be fair, I think the answer is probably a defensive midfielder, personally. But there we go. Alfie says it's Rodri. Kai says, I support Liverpool and we need a new midfield. Absolutely, yeah, especially with all those players that are leaving. Kai, totally agree with you. Rob says, and it's only based on the season, by the way. Big West says Polinia easily. Says, I'd go Guimaraes or Fernandes. That's the first shout for Guimaraes. That's interesting. Oren says Casemiro or Rodri. So yes, that's going to be a very tricky one. And we've still got the two defenders to come as well. Kante, give us your midfield recommendation. Rob says Rodri it is. Oren says I'm leaning towards Casemiro. So we've got how many shouts there? We've got one Rodri. Partey's not an option, says Jack. Pim says Casemiro. Kai says Casemiro. I think Oren is saying Casemiro. I need to back it up. Kante will get you in, don't you worry. If there's zero nice play, someone's getting slapped. But I mean, to be fair, like, you know, the team of the season is based on like individuals, and if they didn't have like an individual best in a position, then they don't necessarily will have anyone. Will says Casemiro can't get in after missing 24 games through suspension. Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable putting Casemiro in this team. I'd rather put in Partey in, to be fair. I think Casemiro's been too much of a liability this season to warrant being in the team of the season. Oren says, Polinia is a good shout, to be fair. I think Casemiro and Rodri have been better. Some of the suspensions aren't fair. I mean, you can't be getting 2 red cards in a season, can you? That's a little bit insane. Rice in there says, Miz. Let's bring in who's been waiting. I feel like Wes has been waiting for ages, so let's bring in Wes now. Hello, Wes. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I am grand. How are you?
I'm doing great because I'm speaking to you.
That is fantastic.
We I'm afraid to say, Wes, that we already ranked Fulham before you came here, but it'll be interesting to hear whether you agree with the ranking or not. We popped them in the B tier. We gave them B, which is the same tier as Bournemouth currently. Behind Villa, but ahead of Forest and Palace. Do you think that's a fair ranking?
I mean, I thought we'd be struggling, to be honest, the whole season because I didn't know how our signings were going to pan out. But, I mean, if you're basing it off what everyone thought at the start of the season, both us and Bournemouth should be in A star, should be in the top because everyone put 19th Fulham, 20th Bournemouth.
Do you remember where I put Fulham?
I think you put us to stay up.
I did, yeah. 17th I put. But still, to stay up, yeah, and they've definitely exceeded my expectations. Will says to have them ahead of Bournemouth. Okay, I'll pop them. We can pop them to the top of B. But so do you? Sorry, did you think B was fair, or do you think they should go up to A?
I think both A, in my opinion. I mean, if Bournemouth kept Scott Parker, they'd have gone down. Like, Gary O'Neill has completely changed the whole season. Just the football they've been playing is ridiculous compared to what Scott Parker had been playing.
Yeah, Gary O'Neill's been doing bits, hasn't he? Will says, no word of a lie, I had Fulham 12th. I saw the vision. Will knew. He already knew.
I think I was 14th, I think. And that was like very... I was like, that was me praying we'd finish 14th.
Yeah, there you go. So I think you were being optimistic, and they even exceeded your expectations. Yes, it's been a fantastic. They also had a good run in the FA Cup as well, didn't they? Before they went mental.
Still, that haunts me.
That was so bizarre. But the future's looking bright for Fulham. Wes, would you agree? And where do you think can Fulham do even better next season, or is this like a flash in the pan season? What are your honest thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I think it all relies on one man, and that is João Paulinho. What happens with him? Because I've seen Bayern have been eyeing him up. What was it? I saw something about Chelsea eyeing him up. If he goes, we are relegation battling next season. We are not anywhere near top half.
When does his contract end? Do you know?
I think he's on a pretty long one. I think he's on a couple of years. So
let's check that.
I'm not exactly sure.
No, it's fine. Let's have a look. Yeah, you're right. You are right. 2027 is when his contract expires. June 2027. So he's got another 4 years on the contract. So I don't know what Fulham's financial situation is. Like, I know Brighton, for example, don't need the money. Would Fulham need money, or would they be able to hang on to their better players?
Right. I mean, I think he wants to stay. I mean, from what I've seen, I think he wants to stay. I think he's happy here. But it's whether the club just let him go, because they've done that in the past with players.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Wes. I was just laughing because I typed in Paulinho into Google, and Will said Nobbins is brave to search P into his browser in front of everyone. I'm not a dirty boy, guys. This is a work PC, okay? There we go. Lovely stuff, Wes. Thank you for your input there. Yeah. So let's assume, for argument's sake, that you do keep Paulinho. Where do Fulham need to strengthen, in your view? And for example, I mean, can they do what Brentford have done this season, and only get like a couple points off Europe? Can you have like a European push, or will you be more mid-table solidity next season?
I mean, I think with Marco Silva in charge, I think he wants to push, and I think the way that it's going with the signings we made this season, I think even though like Willian was a bit of an odd one, I was a bit confused with that, but it's worked out fine. And I think mainly we need a centre half, definitely, because I know although Tim Ream's been probably one of our top 3 players this season, I don't know how long he's got left in him. and Tosin don't look what I thought he would be this season. He don't look that sort of player, so we definitely need a centre half and then a sort of more playmaking midfielder to sort of go in front of Palinha and play the ball about. And I think we should be pushing Europe then.
There we go. For your sake, I hope that's the case. Oren says Joe Gomez to Fulham? ?
No innit?
I was going to say, yeah. You wouldn't want him. That would be a downgrade.
Nah, I don't think I think he's terrible.
Yeah, totally agree. Oren says Palinha is going to get a big money bid from someone like United or Arsenal. Please take him. No, or no one wants him. Hello S24. Very proud of my club Newcastle. Sad about Leicester. Grandad supports them, so always followed them as well. Do you think they'll be straight back up? I don't know about Leicester because they're in, as I understand it, they're in a situation where they had to sell their best players and they couldn't buy anyone. I imagine a lot of those players are on big contracts, the likes of like Maddison and Didi, for example. So they're going to have to shift as many of those players as they can, and I just don't know whether they'll be able to bounce straight back up. I think they will be back for sure, maybe, but not necessarily next season. I'm not entirely sure about that. Alfie, this Campbell player, I swear down. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what the total ins and outs are. I just knew that they had to sell loads of players to try to buy anyone, and they couldn't really do that because of FFP. It's a shame, they're a title winner 7 years ago or so, and now relegated. It's like a Blackburn or a Leeds situation there. Thank you so much for your input, Wes. Also, just while we're here, I'd like to ask you to grade Brentford's season, who finished just 1.7 points and 1 place ahead of you. Did the double over Man City, only newly promoted last season, and became 2 points away from Europe. Where would you rank and grade their season?
As much as I hate Brentford, it's got to be 8, really. I think.
Yeah.
Doing what they're doing, the football that they're playing, and just, I don't know how they're going to define it without Tony for a bit, but he's going to be back in January, is it?
Yeah.
If they can sort of keep themselves in contention when he comes back, they will be flying. They are. I hate that Brentford are good. But I'd rather them be good than Chelsea be good, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I
the fact that it's flipped now. It's us and Brentford that are good, and it's Chelsea that are sort of the bad ones in West London.
And again, just you mentioned Chelsea. Shall we just get it over with and put them in the U tier?
Yeah, is there a tier below
that? We can make one.
Can we just not even rank them?
We can definitely do that. Let's just call it Chelsea. There we go. That's what you get, you frauds. Yeah, swines. You get your own tier, Chelsea. Boom. Sorted. There we go. Wes, thank you for the suggestion. Chelsea get their own tier. Beautiful stuff. But thank you so much for joining, Wes. Hope you've enjoyed the chat, and I'll speak to you later in the chat.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
No worries, Wes. Bye, matey. There we go. That was Wes, Fulham fan. Eric Garcia dancing on this Leicester downfall. Martial's hello cakes. Martial's injured again. What's he up to? Does that mean he's probably out of the FA Cup final? Weghorst return. Just putting nothing in, only went to sell to buy instead to use their own money. Oh, I see. Right. Well, that's going to be an issue. I did see that, Oren. Yes, João Felix apparently not joining Chelsea permanently. Let me know if you guys disagree with that. I mean it's definitely a you. The Chelsea tier is mainly for a joke, but I know it's not all about money spent, but the amount that has been spent, and to come 12th when I had them in the top 4. I think I had them 4th place, and 12th. It's the worst season in their Premier League history. It's got to be that. Might be Rashford up top. Could be. Seen Benzema Saudi. I've seen that as well. S24. Yeah. Very odd. Apparently Martial is injured, which is a thing. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise with Weghorst linking up the play. Hello, Darius. Why is Zendaya a C? Because she's mid. It's an inside joke sort of thing. How you doing, by the way, Darius? By the way, guys, feel free to if you've missed the stream up until now, feel free to say question why is that team in there, etc. And just going back to our team of the season so far, We've got Alisson in goal. We've got half of our defenders sorted in Diaz and Saliba. Half of our midfield sorted in Ødegaard and De Bruyne. And then most of our front three sorted with Haaland and Harry Kane. I want to talk to Kante. I know you've been waiting a long time. I know, but everyone has been waiting a long time. I apologize. We're going to talk to Miz next, and then Kante, I will have a chat with you. Hello, Miz.
You right?
I'm good. How are you? Are you good?
Yeah.
Sensational. Garnacho versus Walker. Aim ready for the test. Indeed, Will. Indeed. Right, Miz. West Ham United. You must be pretty happy with how the season's gone.
Yes, I have.
What's been the best moment of the season so far?
We're going to Prague.
Yeah, are you gonna win?
Yes, bro. Fiorentina have had probably the rockiest journey I think I've ever seen. We've only lost one game in Europe so far, so what does that mean?
It means you've had a pretty good season in the Conference League. That's what it bloody means. Darius says, drop United. I mean, to be fair, we did have United in B earlier. Pim, the United fan, popped him in B.
Drop United right now. One place now.
Well, let's talk about West Ham United first, Pim. So, Miz, sorry. So, obviously, incredibly successful season in the Conference League. They're in the final. They haven't won it yet, but they are in the final against Fiorentina. But very disappointing season in the Premier League. Only on just 6 points off the drop when however much money's been invested into the side. Where did West Ham come last season? Was it like 8th or 7th or something? 7th last season.
I had a look, and if you go to the season before,
Okay.
go to the season
before that.
That one, yeah. Scroll down. We're 6th in that one, or is it
the
one
sixth
before
here.
that?
Or the one before
There's
that.
one I think it's 4 years in a row that we've gone 14th, 8th, 14th, 8th.
Right.
So we could be on an uprise next season.
That's one way to look at it. I rate that, but in terms of the isolation of this season.
Hold on. Tia, bruv. I don't know push you, bruv.
Hello, Uton. How are we doing today? Let me know what team you support. Darius says Jared Bowen's 15 years of Benidorm experience will get West Ham over the line. Sensational. West Ham title charge, says Jack.
Yes, I'm down for that.
But yeah, so as I say, got to a European final, very impressive, but the Premier League season has been, bad. I think it's fair to say, especially given the signings that
we didn't. How many signings did we do? We did Danny Ings.
You brought in Skamaka. You brought in Paqueta.
He's been injured for how long? How long's he been injured for?
You brought in Paqueta as well. Like the quality of the squad West Ham have.
I think it's just because we switched our tactics. Instead of having 3 at the back, I'm 4 at the back now. So that's dropping a midfielder, I think.
Darius says no West Ham fan would take 7th to 14th place over a European final. Absolutely. I'd like the chat to answer. Where do you think West Ham should be graded in this table? It's based. This table is based on all comps. So the fact that they're in
E.
I was gonna say you're in a European final. Do you not think E's quite low?
No. D or C, because we're above Liverpool, because Liverpool dreadful.
That's okay.
I agree with Darius. A for West Ham.
Jack says West Ham are a D or a low C. When West Ham last in a final? Good question. I don't know the answer to that. We are including cup competitions for this table. We are top of B. Yeah, I think that maybe a B or a C. I think if they win the thing, it might even be an A. Who knows? Halves chuck Cardiff in the lowest tier possible. This one's based off all comps here. That's what we've been doing.
We were last in. Right,
you have to read through that and then let me know. But yes, you're Italian and Roma is your favourite team. Oh, you must be really excited for the Europa League final then, for sure.
1976 apparently.
Mad. Darius says your typing is harder than Veghorst's touch. Yeah.
Who?
Yours. Oi, less of that. Alfie says West Ham look like they need a championship attacker. I'm getting desperate. No one wants your player, Alfie. I'm sorry. No one wants him. I think that, I think probably B. Do you think B is a fair ranking then, Miz?
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Right, I've got a stat next to me, right?
Okay.
West Ham have got 13 points since Frank Lampard got appointed as manager.
That's mad.
Which is outrageous.
Outrageous, Miz says. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Uton, so it might mean something naughty, so I don't want to. Just in case it's, racist or something, I don't know.
Roma suck.
It was the first name, Will. It was the first name. Right, so, last question then, Miz. Are you going to win the final, first of all?
Yes.
And where are you finishing next season?
High table, 12 to 10. Top between, 11. I'll take 11.
That sounds like mid-table to me, not high table.
Same thing. Shut up.
Interesting. Okay. Half says Southampton will get top 2 in the Championship. Jack will be very happy with that. But yes, Miz, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for typing incredibly aggressively on your keyboard. I highly rate that. And I will speak to you later in the chat, yeah?
Wait.
There we go. That was Miz. No, I believe you. So what is it? Porco de Dio. It's a new song of Europa League by Roma and Juve fans. What does it mean? Adam Armstrong, Golden Boot. If West Ham win the cup, Bowen's going to finish at Wayne Lineker's. Well, there we go. West Ham in the beautiful tier is where we have popped them in. Right. We're now going to speak to Kante, but then, Will, if you're up for it, I want to have this debate about who should be in the right wing slot. I think it's going to be a debate between you and Liam. So I don't know if Liam's here, or maybe Will, if you could ping him, because if you're up for it, I'd like you to have a chat about that for 5 minutes or so, if that's okay, because I think that'd be an interesting discussion. Hello, Kante.
Evening.
How you doing, bro?
All right.
Excellent. You're a Blackburn fan.
Sadly.
Sadly. Just missed out. I didn't even realize it was that close. I didn't actually realize it was because of goal difference you missed out on the playoffs. Really strong championship next season. How hopeful are you that you can make another playoff push?
Well, I'll be lying if I said we'll get playoffs.
Where do you think is more of a realistic... Because you're losing some of your better players, aren't you, this season?
Yeah.
We're
losing Diaz.
Yeah.
We're losing Dak. We're losing Ayala.
And is that confirmed for all of them, or is it just a rumours?
Yeah, it's confirmed.
It's confirmed as well, right? Okay. So you're losing your best player. Are you at least going to get a bit of money for them, or is it a free transfer?
No, all on freeze.
Right, okay. So you're losing all your best players on freeze, so you're not getting any income, and the championship's going to be even harder next season.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the future.
And we have no money.
And you've got no money. Right. The future doesn't look bright, but is there any positives that we can spin from this season, or going into the next?
Yeah. We've already signed a player.
Who?
Niall Ennis from Plymouth. We've got really good youngsters that have come through our academy and that were really performing well last season, like Adam Wharton. We've got I can't think of any else.
Darius says Ben Berrison's rebrand has to be the most successful of all time.
Yeah, it is. He played well for half a season and just fucked off into Spain.
Interesting. Was that? Do you think that's basic? Was that him downing tools? Do you think?
But he got injured at this. Not the season that just finished. The season before that. And then this season he's been all right for the start of it, and then when he signed the pre-contract for Villarreal, his mind was just in Spain. And he wasn't running for any balls, and he was just terrible.
That is fair. Yes, I'm sorry, Candy. I tried to find some positives for you, but it appears I've only been able to draw out some negatives. I don't even know. Who do you think's going to come up then from the Championship next season? Southampton, for example. Can you see them coming up?
If Adam Armstrong doesn't want to leave, because he's absolutely class in the Championship.
Well, and speaking of Armstrong, Jack asks, how many goals does Kante think Armstrong is getting next season?
Oh, 30.
30, there we go. Lovely. Will says mention JDT.
Oh, what a man.
Remind me of who that is?
Our manager.
Oh, right, okay. Tell me more.
He was linked to Feyenoord because the Feyenoord manager was linked to Tottenham, but I don't think he'll go. He's like, his brain is just fucking everywhere. He's fucking class.
Brilliant. Half says Southampton, Borough, and Sunderland through the playoffs to come up.
No, not Sunderland.
Not Sunderland.
It's if they keep Mowbray, it's no.
So who is coming up in your mind?
I just need to look at the table one sec.
So obviously Southampton, Leeds, and Leicester have come down.
Yeah.
I think Plymouth came up from League One.
Yeah, but Plymouth I think will be mid-table.
Mm-hmm. Alfie says Stoke winning the league next year. I'm delusional. Hey, where did Stoke actually finish?
Could finish like 15th
oh,
or
yeah,
something.
16th. Yeah, there we go. Never mind. Never mind. You go. Oh no, Wigan. Oh, poor Wigan. There we go. Shout out halves. What was that, Kante? Do you have your predictions?
Fuck Wigan.
Don't we mean to up the ticks and all that?
No. Oh, fuck them.
Oh yeah, Darius says, do you get like PTSD whenever you see chicken? Because of your owners.
Sometimes.
Is it still those same owners?
Yeah.
Oh, God, they've been there for ages, man.
Yeah, they've been there basically my whole life.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I remember that chicken coming onto the pitch. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something.
It was 2010 against Wigan, and they've improved since we went down to League One because they actually like, oh, we've got to care about the club now.
Yeah,
been putting in money. That money is like just enough to buy players. Like we spent like 5-6 million last year, which is all right. We invested well, but we've lost too many people on freeze, which.
Sorry,
we got to do some selling, but I don't know who we can sell for like big money so we can buy players. No, it's going to be another tough season.
Sure. Darius says, the Venkies are still at Blackburn. He says they're like the Audi Glazers. Fantastic. There we go. Cardiff and QPR to go down. Says halves. Oh, and Birmingham. As well. Unfortunately, I can't help but think Cardiff will go down next season. For your sake, halves, I hope that they are fine. But
I don't think Cardiff will go down.
Do you not? Why not?
When you've got people like when you got teams like Rotherham, like who else? The teams that have come up are actually like pretty decent. But teams like Rotherham and probably Bristol City. After losing Alex Scott and Jade De Silva, I feel like they'll be in a relegation battle. I feel like Hull will go down.
Yeah.
Because I know it's more Prem, but second season I think they're in. Second season up. I don't think
you mentioned his name. Where's Alex Scott playing next season?
Oh, I think he's going to go to somewhere like Bournemouth because they did it with Semenyo. Signing in from, I think it was Bristol City, signing in ready for the future. And I think Bournemouth will do the same there, signing for the future.
There we go. Interesting shouts. There we go, because now that's one of Village's favourite players. There we go. Kante, thank you so much for joining me, man. I'll speak to you in the chat later, yeah?
Wait, can I tell my player of the year things?
Oh, yeah. What, you mean for the Premier League one?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you want to make a suggestion?
Yeah, midfield.
Right.
Calvin Phillips.
Tell me more. I rate it.
Have you ever come back from a World Cup and be too obese to play for the best team in the world? No, but has Calvin Phillips? Yes, that's why he's the best player in the world.
It's a good point. Jack says get in. Yeah, it's a popular choice, to be fair. Hey, maybe I can be convinced. We'll see. But yeah, Kante, thank you.
He also gives you free McDonald's.
That too.
Yeah.
That too, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much, Kante, matey. I'll speak to you later, yeah?
No.
Fair enough. There we go. Calvin Phillips would love the Venkies indeed. That's an interesting question from I haven't even really considered that. Would he stick Stones in over Rodri in midfield? I guess we can technically consider Stones a midfielder if we want. That's an interesting take. In Italy, we have one United fan and one City fan. Wow. Yes, but my thoughts on Serie A. Look, up the mighty Sampdoria, but I'm afraid we got relegated, so it's a bit of a shame. Will, I know you said that Liam has gone to bed or something, but I think Oren is also a Liverpool fan. I think Oren wants to argue that Salah should get in, so over Saka. So if you guys want to, I mean, Oren, if you can confirm that for me or not, and if you want to have a quick 3-5 minute chat with Oren about it, Oren and Will, then we can have a chat about that. Sampdoria can hold that. What the hell? How close was it between Ake and Diaz? I think Ake's been the best defender I've seen this season. See, now, this is a question, because I think Ake should be in this team, and actually, I don't care. I'm putting in Ake. I don't care. It's not just because we need a left-back. I think Ake's been City's best defender this season. If Ruben Diaz is getting in, Ake gets in, because Ake, for me, has actually been better than Diaz this season. So there we go. I'm putting him in. But no, we don't. You don't have to, Warren, if you don't want to. We don't have to if you don't want to. I just thought it would be interesting because Half says it's Saka. General vote says Saka. Well, who do you think, Jack? Because didn't you say Salah? I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. Says Darius. For me, he's got to be. Oh, never mind. Oren says Saka has been better. Right, Will, do you want to try to counter what you think Liam may have said in respect of Salah being better than Saka this season in the Premier League?
Yeah, there's one or two arguments. He'd start bringing up all comps, I reckon, and even though we've said that doesn't matter, but I think he'd do it anyways.
Yeah.
And then he'd also, so I'm just going to say that doesn't matter. Like, we're not going to use the Champions League. And then he'd probably bring up goals and assists. And I don't know, I feel like judging a winger from goals and assists is just bizarre. Like, I get it, it's kind of important, but Grealish has been the best left winger in the league this year. But if you're going to use goals and assists, Martinelli, Rashford, Trossard, there'd be so many people who are ahead of him. You just watch the game with your eyes. A winger does so much more than do the final action of some build-up play.
Big win about the Grealish out. Love that from you. Love that from you. Jack says Salah got clamped by Kyle Walker-Peters. So that is fair enough. That's why Jack doesn't want him in there. Or in less of that. Darius says just popping Ake straight in. I mean, he's been the best friend in Europe for me this year. Yeah, to be fair, we should have put him in a lot sooner. But there we go. He's in there now. Do you agree with that, by the way, Will? Ake in the team?
Yeah, he's been probably second or third in the league. It's Diaz, Saliba, Ake. They're the three in there. I did have Varane in there, but then, I don't know. United post League Cup have been just so shaky that I can't put him in. Also, the bar rings. You can't put someone in who's been like ripped apart 3 times.
For sure. So you've said who you think your top 3 defenders are. Diaz, Saliba, Ake. Who doesn't have to be a right back. So you could have another left back or a centre back in there if you wanted, or you could just have Ben White Trippier as a right back. Who do you think should be in the right back slot? And I repeat what I said, doesn't have to be a right back.
Yeah, I think it's between Trippier and Botman.
Yeah?
I'm going to say Botman.
You're going to say Botman? Okay, I'll take that to the chat. Who do you got? I think I probably... What about Martinez, actually? Will, does he get a shout? Sandro?
No, I don't think Lissandro's been better than Botman, especially with the injuries and then I feel like a lot of people have been missing how error-prone and reckless he is. That he could have had about 3 red cards this season. He's been lucky.
That's fair. Alpha says get Trips in there. Jack says no, he's too short. Isn't Trippier up there with Bruno and De Bruyne for chances made? I mean, maybe he takes a lot of set pieces, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but Newcastle are crap at set pieces. I don't know, it's against him. He's been terrible at corners this year.
That's fairs. And in the best defense in the league statistically. Yeah, I think your bottom shout's interesting. Will, I'm gonna go with Trippier. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I think that like there's Martinez, Botman, Trippier, and I'm trying to think. I think there's another one. Like if someone wants to put them in, that's fine.
There we go. And before you go, Will, as I say, we've been denied a heated debate because Liam forfeited Salah being in there, so Saka gets in there. I know that you're a big Bruno Guimaraes advocate, so I'm going to give you the floor for a minute or so, just so you can make a case for Bruno Guimaraes. Just bear in mind the players he's up against are Partey, Casemiro, Rodri, and even Darius said, maybe we could even throw John Stones in there because he's basically been a makeshift midfielder this season. So you have the floor, Will. Re Bruno.
Bruno's been Newcastle's best player by a mile. If anyone watched Newcastle for the period where they didn't have Bruno, and you watch them play, they look like a different team. He's like just integral to them. He does a lot going forward whilst being the deepest midfielder. Newcastle have been probably the most solid defensively, like consistently wise. I get like City have conceded less, but consistency throughout the entire season, it's probably Newcastle that are the most defensively solid team, and Bruno is at the base of a midfield that is like supplying that, and he has Fabian Schär behind him. Like, come on, it's not as if he's got Ruben Diaz behind him like Rodri does. He's dealing with worse players. So yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer, Bruno. But if people put Rodri in, I get it. He's probably the second best at the end of the season, maybe third. So that's fine.
I was going to be my follow-up question. Do you think it is between Guimaraes and Rodri, or would you make a case for Partey?
I'd definitely make a case for Partey, but people I don't be too mean. I think people get a bit brain dead when it comes to the last 2 months of the season, and they just kind of forget everything else. People saying Rashford, behave. He's been crap for like large parts of the season. Same with I saw another one that was like absolutely Salah. That's it, Salah. I don't know. Up until January, no one was saying Salah, and everyone was like unanimously saying Saka.
Yeah.
Just because Salah has ended probably on par with Saka, he hasn't even been better in the final stages. I think Saka missed a penalty and Salah started scoring some goals and getting some assists, and then people randomly flip the narrative because of 1 month. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Salah should be in here. As you say, he scored some goals late in the season and got some assists late in the season, but across this, it's a team of the season, not who has got the most goals and assists over the past couple of months. So that's my personal thoughts. Jack says, what's the difference between Rashford's season and Almiron's? Oh gosh.
No, Almiron did it early on, so people forgot. Genuinely, that's what happened.
Yeah, literally. Darius says, what do you think, Nobbins, about Kane having 24 non-Premier League goals, non-penalty goals, and Haaland 29 non-penalty goals in the league? It's a shame for Kane because basically any other season, and he gets Golden Boot, and people are talking about what an amazing season he's had and how he's maybe Player of the Year and all that stuff, but because there's a freak Norwegian at City, it means that he's been overlooked, which is a shame because.
Have you seen the tweet that blew up saying that Kane's season was more impressive?
Right, I've not. Thankfully, I've not seen that. I will not be engaging in that either. But there we go. Will, thank you so much for joining me for a second time, mate.
Yeah, right. See ya.
No worries at all. There we go. That was Will. Again, thank you so much for that, Will. Darius asks, do you think Kane might have got more than Haaland in that team? See, this my thoughts on it has been, because Kane is a better player than Haaland, obviously. My thoughts is, if Kane was at City, City would score more and be a better team, but Kane would score less, but the team would score more, if that makes sense. And as I say, I think we play better. That would be my thoughts on that. So, we've just got a couple teams left. I don't think anyone wants to. I don't think we've got any Spurs, Brighton, or Arsenal fans in the chat currently. If anyone wants to come on and talk about these teams, you're more than welcome to. Brighton have been unbelievable. They're in the Europa League. Insane, lovely football this season under both Potter and De Zerbi. I thought I was overselling them by putting them in like 8th or 9th. They got 6th. Where are they going, guys? You want to talk? Oh, Oren, what do you want to talk about? I apologize. We'll get to you, Oren. Don't worry. Brighton also kept Everton up. Yeah, so you know, it's got to be. I mean, it's got to be like at least A, hasn't it? Surely. I mean, come on, Europa League. Brighton got to be an A, especially after Potter left, and it looked bleak. Yeah, and you know, even before the start of the season, you know, they sold Kukureya, and there was a question mark over Caicedo and all that stuff. Yeah, it's got to be an A for me. Spurs have been shocking. It's probably an F. Would you say? Not even a European spot. Shambolic in terms of the management situation. As I say, missing out on Europe, only by a point, but still, it's been really bad. I think they've had a worse season than Liverpool. It's got to be an F, like at the absolute highest, surely. Spurs are muddy, says Oren. North London nerds can get put in the Chelsea tier for dropping points to Southampton. They bottled it against them in the semi-final. They're not going to win the Europa League, and they sell their best players. Average Brighton season. Spurs are F, expectation for top 4, and you had the mid-title. Right, yeah, but to be fair, I mean, no one would have predicted that. They did have a really good transfer window. You know, I don't think anyone could have predicted the mental capitulation of Conte, and also it turns out they just didn't have any defenders who are competent at football. So there we go. Yeah, Spurs have got to be an F. I had Spurs second. I had Spurs third, as I say. And now the question comes to the arse, the mighty Arsenal. If there are any people who, so I don't know if Tayab's still here, but if there's anyone who still wants to have a chat about your team, etc., we've still got the defensive midfielder, or final midfielder to sort out. But I think the consensus is going to be between Rodri and Bruno Guimaraes. So have a think about who you think's been better this season, and we'll do like a not a poll because I can't do this, but you know, you guys will say who thinks had a better season. High A for the arse, says Jack. Darius says, wasting my time is the perfect description of Arsenal's season, says Darius. See, I think they've got to be an A. I know, I understand that obviously if they won the title it would be an A-star, no question. It's got to be an A, hasn't it? I appreciate that they threw away the title at the end, and they, you know, dropped they lost a 2-goal lead against West Ham and Liverpool, and they drew at home against Southampton, and they lost twice against us, and eventually, you know, they lost at home against Brighton and lost against Forest and gave City the title with 3 to go. There's no way Newcastle had a better season than Arsenal. That's a good question. Who had a better season, do you guys think? Newcastle or the arse? Newcastle or the arse? Arsenal weren't even expected to get top 4. I had them 5th. I think a few people maybe had them in a more of a top 4 push for sure. Will says Arsenal. Oh, I don't know. I think it might be Newcastle. I think it might be. I think, well, let's put Arsenal in here, definitely. By the way, I'd be interested to hear who do you guys think's been better this season? Who's had a better season, Arsenal or Newcastle? Obviously, Arsenal have finished ahead of Newcastle by 2 places and by 13 points. But I mean, you know, Newcastle got to a. So what did Arsenal do? So they got to obviously they're in a title race, fantastic. Newcastle Champions League and got to a cup final. And last season they were, you know, in a relegation spot before the takeover happened. Harv says move West Ham down. Now, very demanding. Very demanding indeed. And actually, I don't think anyone else is waiting here. So apart from Oren. So, Oren, have you sorted your mic out, mate?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit better. Lovely stuff. Everyone had Newcastle top 8. Most people had Arsenal 5th to 6th. Arsenal overperformed their expectations more than they did. Did everyone have Newcastle top 8? I thought I was being optimistic by putting them in 7th. To be fair,
I think the consensus was that that people thought they're going to maybe get Conference League at a push.
Okay, I'll drop them down then.
To 7.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. I think personally, they had the better season because Arsenal just made a fucking fool of themselves. Like, you know,
Arsenal had a great season. Don't get me wrong, but like, oh my god, that is such a horrible way to end the season. That is going to go down in history as, as a massive choke, and they're not. It's hard to live that down, But like,
sure.
I can see where people are coming from. Of course, Arsenal are above Newcastle on the table, but like, that's they had a historical choke, just an absolute historical choke. No one's going to forget about that.
For sure. Will says there have been bigger bottles people have forgotten about. Not too many, to be fair. I mean, United in 11-12 is probably the obvious example. That's the biggest one in Premier League history by a mile. Keegan's Newcastle did a similar thing where they were top for so long and then just like failed. But yeah, it's got to be up there in terms of like leading for like 93% of the season and then losing it with 3 games to go is pretty mental. It will certainly be up there, that's for sure. But yes, guys. So I'm happy to move Newcastle down. If most of you guys think A, that's absolutely fine. And there we go. We've finished our tier list. Hello, Nicholas. Oh, sorry. What was your question, Jack? Can you repeat it? That's a good question. I say Newcastle. Newcastle were dubbed for top 10. Arsenal overachieved, yes, but it's not like Newcastle had a drastic overhaul of their roster to get top 4. It's certainly close either way. No worries at all, Alfie. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Next stream will be on Friday, 10 p.m. football quiz, and then we're doing a drinking game watch along for the FA Cup final. Can I come and drop my predictions for next season? Yeah, sure, Jack, if you want. Will says it's just that they never were comfortably ahead. It was always within 2 games. No, there was a point, Will, where they were 8 points clear with the same games played around the halfway point for sure. That was definitely a thing. Yeah. Unless I've got that totally wrong, I'm pretty sure they're 8 points clear with all games played. But yeah, we've got one more position in respect of our team of the season. I will be asking the whole chat, but Oren is between Guimaraes and Rodri, it seems. Of those two, Oren, which do you reckon deserves to get in?
Gotta be honest, I'm a massive Bruno Guimaraes fan. I love the lad. He just, whenever he plays, he dictates the tempo. He's a fantastic player. I wish Liverpool got him. I'm absolutely fuming that Liverpool didn't get him. He would have changed the season so much, I think. But like, Newcastle have some player in their hands. Rodri's had a fantastic season too, but like, Bruno Guimaraes has really been the difference for Newcastle.
So you would edge it to Guimaraes, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. There we go. Lovely. Thank you for chatting to me again, Oren. I'll speak to you later.
Bye.
There we go. Lovely stuff from Oren. And then we'll end on Jack. So, Jack, what's your prediction that you want to do?
It's just going to be... I'm going to quickly go through my table predictions.
Okay.
I will go quick, I promise.
That's fine.
Right, so... Luton bottom, 19th Wolves, 18th Sheffield United, 17th Forest, 16th Everton, 15th Fulham, 14th Burnley, 13th Palace. I was 13th twice.
No, I think it's a 14 then 13.
12th Brentford, 11th West Ham, 10th Spurs, 9th. I've put West Ham twice. Who have I not?
Brilliant. Sensational.
We'll come back. I'll fix it later.
Brilliant.
So we'll skip 9th. 8th Brighton, 7th Chelsea, 6th Villa, 5th Arsenal, 4th Liverpool, 3rd Man United, 2nd Newcastle, 1st City.
Wow, Newcastle 2nd. That's bold.
I've gone very bold.
I rate that. And just on Newcastle, Jack, Bruno Guimaraes or Rodri, what would your vote go to?
I was midway through typing out. I don't mind either way, but then you dragged me in. So, yeah, I really don't mind either way, but I prefer Rodri.
That's fine. There we go. Thank you for that, Jack. Yes, I'm going to just get the people's thoughts on final question, guys. Final one before we end today. Bruno Guimaraes or Rodri? Get your votes in now. Nicholas says Rodri. Will says Bruno Guimaraes. Wes says no John Stones in the team should be a war crime. Well, interesting, Wes. So who would you have instead? Because He wouldn't get in over Ake or Ruben Diaz.
I'm putting him in over Saliba.
Do you think he's been better than Saliba this season?
I think he's been better than Saliba.
I could maybe see Stones over Trippier, to be fair, if we're being cheeky. I'd say that's the weakest link there. If there was anyone to replace, it would be Trippier, but I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. I think that I think Harv said Guimaraes earlier. I think Darius said Rodri. Darius says Saliba is actually the weakest link. Really? Interesting.
I think so.
Stick him in holding midfield. Bloke can play anywhere. He can, Wes, and I guess that's why he'll be a bit of a victim for a team of the season because he's so versatile and he can play on right back, centre back, central midfield. So he's going to be a bit of a victim there. Yeah, I'm personally not sure Stones has been better than Saliba. I'm not convinced Saliba is the weak link. I know he got injured towards the end of the season, but I think when he was fit, he was basically spot on every single time he played. Stone's been heavily overhyped. He has been overhyped by some people, but yeah, look at tributes. I don't like to look at numbers for defenders though, Darius. I like to look with my pupils. I think it's basically 50-50 with Guimaraes and Rodri, unless I'm missing people. That seems to be the consensus. People don't mind either way. So I'm going to have the casting vote, and I'm going Rodri.
What a win.
There we go. And
hold that.
Yeah, hold that, Bruno. No, I think you can make us totally... I'm not saying it's clear by any means. I can totally understand why I'd have Bruno win. As I say, I'm not saying he's clearly been better. You can make an argument either way. But I'd personally vote Rodri. I think both is a fair answer. We don't have any Man United players in this team. Now, yeah, Will says no United players, Pim's going to kill himself. But to be fair, when it comes to teams of the season, we do it based on like the individual players in their best positions. And I don't think any United player has been the best in their position this season. If we were doing it totally, you've got to have a left winger, you could make an argument for Rashford being in there. But even then, I wouldn't have him at left wing personally, but you could make the argument. I don't think Bruno Fernandes would be better than Kevin or Odegaard. I don't think Shaw's been better than Ake. I don't think Martinez would be better than Saliba and Diaz. That's because of injury. Maybe Martinez would have been better. United stand-up players have been the second, third best players in their position exactly. Yeah, totally agree, Darius. Totally agree. I'm so happy this Grealish season has been recognised because it's been fantastic. Perfectly happy for... Darius is a United fan, by the way, guys. I'm perfectly happy for no Man United players in. The only one that gets close is Shaw, and I agree. Yeah, you could definitely have Shaw for Ake, but for me, I think it has to be Ake. I think he's been our best defender this season. So, yeah. I'm happy with that team of the season. I think that's basically perfect. I'm happy with that tier list. You can make debates about some of them, but I think that's about right as well. And with that, that's the stream. That's the fan phone-in. That's been the... I agree. Ari Saka will, by the way. For me, it's a no-brainer. Saka gets in there without a shadow of a doubt. Having Kane at right wing is such a cop-out. He's not a right wing. He's at left wing. And the reason he's in there is because we've done this based on the PFA team of the year. Oh, sorry, Jack. I just disconnected. We've done this based on what the PFA team of the year would be voted on. And the way they do it is they do 4 defenders. So, for example, we didn't even have to have Trippier in there. It just so happened that we picked a left back and a right back. It's just 4 defenders and 3 forwards. That's just how it's worked out. Like, remember that year Aguero was at left wing in the Centurion season because it's based on players basing on forwards, etc. Stop being a coward. Go for Grealish, Kane, Saka. Look, if we were doing it based on out-and-out positions, I would agree. Jack Grealish gets in, no doubt. Yeah, and I agree. Well, Bruno is a close call for sure. I can totally understand why you'd have him either way. If it was positions, then it just so happens Trippier is a right back, Ake is a left back. That's fine. If we had to do it left wing, Jack Grealish would get in. But I'm doing it based on forwards, so Harry Kane gets in. Don't come at me with Salah over Saka. It ain't happening. Not for me. Lewis Dunk, anywhere near the centre halves for you? Again, I think that would be an honourable mention. I think if we had substitutes, that could be an interesting conversation. Sneaking Carson for fun, says Jack. Yeah, it's a shame. There's so many players who have missed out. But, you know, and obviously the team is dominant. I appreciate I'm a City fan, and obviously, you know, I'm going to have some sort of intrinsic bias towards City, but I think it is fair enough to have most City players in this team, given that they have won the title. In fact, how many are? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? So we've put in 5. I think 5 is fine, to be fair. And how many Arsenal? 1, 2, 3 Arsenal. I think that's fine. 3 Arsenal. And then, you know, the standout player from Spurs, a standout player from Newcastle, and Liverpool as well. So I'm quite happy with that. Guys, that is the stream. Thank you so much for joining me on this phone. I really hope you enjoyed it. I always love these ones where I get to chat to you guys like that. If you've enjoyed yourself, if you enjoy my content and want to support me directly, you can do so for as little as £1 a month. The link is there for the Patreon of Destiny. If you've got any questions, then feel free to message me on Discord about that. As I say, you can join for as little as £1 a month, which is like the price of one takeaway a year. If you would like to, you may do so. You get lots of lovely perks as well. And next stream is on Friday, 10 PM, football quiz. FA Cup final drinking game on Saturday with my Manchester United mate live. You don't want to miss that. Until next time, guys, I am off. Have a lovely rest of your evening. And I will see you all next time at the football quiz. Goodbye.